Hey, what's up, Steeler Nation? Before we dive into today's breaking news, I just want to remind everyone, this team is working non-stop to get better. Every move they make is about sharpening this roster, building that championship culture, and putting us back where we belong, competing for Lombardis. So if you're hyped about the Steelers getting better every single day, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your support means the world and keeps all these Steelers updates coming strong. All right, today we've got a big one to talk about. A new veteran wide receiver is coming to Pittsburgh, and it could be one of the smartest moves of the offseason. Let's break it all down. With the 2025 NFL Draft officially in the books, teams are shifting focus to filling out the rest of their rosters, and the Steelers didn't waste any time. On Monday afternoon, news dropped from NFL insider Ian Rappaport. The Pittsburgh Steelers have signed veteran wide receiver Robert Woods to a one-year, $2 million deal. Now listen, Pittsburgh didn't draft a wide receiver over the weekend, even though a lot of fans were hoping they would. So this move right here, it's a clear, smart step to add a dependable, battle-tested player to this offense. With the quarterback situation still unsettled, whether it's Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, or even a surprise starter, it's absolutely critical to have a trusted, steady veteran in that receiver room. And Robert Woods fits that bill perfectly. Woods is exactly the kind of player you want when you're building a winning culture. He's not flashy. He's not a TikTok highlight reel. But what he is a professional. Since being drafted 41st, overall, back in 2013, Robert Woods has been one of the most respected wide receivers in the league. Reliable hands, elite route running, blocking toughness, leadership in the locker room, all the little things that don't always show up on the stat sheet but win you football games. He's played for playoff teams, he's been a captain, and he's battled through injuries while still producing. Even though he's past his prime statistically, Woods brings something that's just as valuable: stability. And let's be honest, that's exactly what our young, explosive WR room needs right now. Now let's zoom out a little, the Steelers. WR room looks completely different today than it did just a few weeks ago. Why? Because we pulled off that massive trade for DK Metcalf. You pair DK Metcalf with George Pickens, and you've got one of the scariest outside duos in the entire NFL. Two physical freaks who can absolutely dominate defenses. But every WR room needs more than just two stars. You need depth. You need reliability. You need guys who can step in and produce when injuries hit or game plans shift. And now behind Metcalf and Pickens, you've got Calvin Austin III, electric speed, slot potential, Roman Wilson, rookie from Michigan, tons of upside. And now, Robert Woods, the veteran glue guy who can mentor the younger guys and contribute on the field when needed. It's a perfectly balanced group, and it shows the Steelers' front office is thinking 3 steps ahead. All right, so where exactly does Woods fit into the Steelers' offense? First of all, his versatility is huge. He can line up outside or in the slot, depending on the formation. Second, he's the kind of guy quarterbacks love, because he's always where he's supposed to be. On time, precise routes, makes the tough catches on third down. For a team that might still be figuring out who their QB1 is, having a guy like Woods is a safety net. He can move the chains, help control the tempo of the game, and bring veteran leadership to the huddle. Think about key 3rd and 5 plays. Think about red zone situations. That's where Woods can really earn his paycheck. Now, while we're talking Steelers moves, real quick, let's touch on the 2025 NFL Draft for a second. Pittsburgh grabbed Jack Sawyer from Ohio State in the 4th round, a guy who turned it on when it mattered most, helping the Buckeyes win a national title with 3 sacks and a strip sack TD in the playoffs. Look, some fans were upset about passing on quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders at that point. I get it. Passing on a potential franchise QB is always risky. But here's the thing. Sawyer has a crazy motor. He's a natural leader. He fits perfectly into our pass rush room with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig. Would it have been nice to take a shot on Shedeur? Maybe. But trusting the Steelers' draft board, trusting their scouting, is something this franchise has earned over decades. They don't miss often, and Jack Sawyer could end up being a massive steal in the 4th round. Coming back to Robert Woods, this move just makes too much sense. It's low risk, high reward. You pay him $2 million for a year. That's almost nothing for a proven vet. If he plays 17 games, helps the young guys, and makes 2 or 3 clutch plays in key games, he's worth every penny. And if he mentors Calvin Austin III and Roman Wilson into better players long-term, even better. This isn't about trying to make a splashy headline. It's about building a team that can survive a long season, grind out tough wins, and make a serious playoff run. Over the past few weeks, we heard a lot of noise, rumors flying. Around that, the Steelers might be looking to trade George Pickens. It started when Pittsburgh traded away their 2nd-round pick. People immediately thought, hey, maybe they'll move Pickens to get back into that round. And look, it made for some juicy headlines. Fans were worried, analysts were speculating, but here's the truth. According to Mark Kaboly from Kaboly Plus Mac, the George Pickens trade talk was never serious. Here's exactly what he said. You take a call and say, okay, no thanks. So they're not interested in moving him unless something crazy happens and he demands it. That's it. That's the whole story. The Steelers weren't shopping Pickens. They weren't dangling him out there. They were simply doing their due diligence, like every smart front office does. But at no point were they actively trying to move one of their most dynamic weapons. And honestly, it makes total sense. When you step back and think about it, even after making that huge move to bring DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh, the Steelers still don't have a ton of depth at wide receiver. Trading away Pickens for just a 2nd-round pick would have meant, what? Drafting another rookie receiver from a weaker WR class, rolling the dice on another project when you already have an elite young talent in the building? It would have been a massive gamble, and not a smart one. They're already hoping. Rookie Roman Wilson from Michigan can step up and be a contributor. But if you move Pickens, suddenly you're betting everything on rookies and mid-tier depth. That's just not how you build a winner. And let's not forget, George Pickens fits this offense like a glove. Mike Tomlin wants a vertical attack. Big, physical receivers who can stretch the field and make contested catches. Pickens is tailor-made for that system. Plus, Mason Rudolph, who is very much still in the mix to start, has one of the best deep balls in the NFL. It's a perfect pairing. Even if Pickens has had his ups and downs emotionally, when you look purely at his skill set, he's exactly what Pittsburgh needs. Now let's talk business for a second, because the salary cap is always lurking in the background. The Steelers just gave DK Metcalf a monster extension, $33 million per year in new money. That's a huge commitment. Realistically, it doesn't make a lot of sense to also pay George Pickens $30+ million per year when their skill sets are so similar. Metcalf is locked in. Uncuttable, untradeable, he's part of the future core. Pickens? He's entering a prove-it year, he's in a contract year, and the Steelers front office is going to be evaluating everything. They're going to be watching his production, his maturity, his ability to refine his route running and become a complete receiver. And yes, if he balls out, he's going to demand big money. But if he's inconsistent or struggles with attitude issues, the Steelers will think long and hard about moving him, maybe even at the trade deadline, if the price is right. And that brings us to a really important point. George Pickens has a ton of talent, but talent alone doesn't get you paid in Pittsburgh. He needs to show growth. Specifically, maturity, handling adversity better when the team loses or when he has a quiet game. Route running, becoming more than just a sideline go-route guy. Consistency, being a player the quarterback, and coaches can trust every single down. If Pickens can evolve his game this year, if he shows he's not just another Metcalf clone, but a more complete, more dynamic weapon, he could secure a huge payday, maybe even in Pittsburgh. But if he stays one-dimensional and volatile, The Steelers could absolutely decide to cash in at the deadline for a second or third round pick and reload for the future. So Steeler Nation, now I want to hear from you. What do you think about signing Robert Woods? Do you love the idea of adding a veteran to balance out Metcalf and Pickens? Are you still worried about passing on a QB like Shedeur Sanders, or are you happy with the defensive focus and guys like Jack Sawyer? Drop your thoughts down in the comments right now. You know I'm always in there reading, liking, and, replying. Before you go, smash that like button if you're excited about where the Steelers are heading, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Catch you next time right here on the channel.